I've been asking for any questions on the Tour de France. No question too complex or too simple. And I'm going to now put them to Adam and Robbie and Dan. So if you had a question, then have a listen because it might well be answered. So I'm in the green room with Adam Blythe Adamski as we watch the stage. Glued to it before you head into commentary. Are you ready for this, Adam?
No.
Brilliant. Okay, that's what I like to hear. First question is from @BTCW. I like this one. We're going to like this. What shenanigans happen in the peloton? I want the juicy examples. I like that @BTCW.
Not a lot of shenanigans. You can.
Liar.
There's generally not a lot to do. You can like squirt water at people when it's really hot, or general chat. If you're riding up someone on the right-hand side, tap them on the bum on the left-hand side, and you go like that. Really childish stuff, but not that much happens, to be honest. It's quite an unfun place to be because it's hard.
And a quiet start to a stage. There's a lot of like catch up and goss and catching up with family and what you've been up to and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, there's a lot of chat about what's to come as well. So if it's like, oh, God, we've got this in a couple of days. Have you seen that? Yeah, I've seen that. Oh, my God, have you seen this? Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of chat, but nothing really that much fun, really.
So pretty much like your performance in the breakaway. A lot of chat, not much fun. We've got a question from @PedalHardGuy asking, what do you miss most about the Tour de France? Surely you don't miss anything. You're living your dream right now.
If you're going really well, the thing to be missed is getting the job done with your teammates, like winning stages. There's no better feeling than winning a stage. But to temper that, all the suffering that goes along with it to get to the point of being able to win stages is what I don't miss. And I'm happy on the sidelines where I am.
We're back in the green room. Dan is here, ready to answer your questions. You look ready.
I am ready. I've not been told what the questions are. Slightly nervous.
That's the point, my friend. Right, first question is from @LanceCon. Your favourite stage of all time? Apparently theirs is Floyd's Stage 17, 2006. What's yours?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that today because it was yesterday's stage 11 of the Tour de France. I mean, everything that we look forward to in bike racing seemed to happen on one stage. It doesn't normally happen that way. I think that is a stage that will live long in our minds.
So you reckon that's going to be your favourite stage of all time, or that's where it sits right now?
It's where it sits right now. Hopefully 3 or 4 more stages will overtake that one in the remainder of this Tour de France. But unfortunately, I don't think they will because that sort of circumstance comes along so rarely, where you had Pogacar exposed and Jumbo-Visma looking so strong and taking advantage of that at the end. I mean, I don't think we could believe what was unfolding in front of our eyes.
It's absolutely beautiful. I'm still hoarse from it. This is from @Mrs_LJA. How do they get the bikes/kit ready so quickly if they win a jersey? So I presume that's like the full custom bike and all the rest of it in green or in yellow or whatever.
So I'm watching Tom Pidcock behind her going down the Galibier really, really quickly. It's quite impressive. It's all pre-done before it. So all the bike companies, if you find that little secret place in the back of the team truck, teams that expect to be yellow, green, polka dot, they'll all have them in there already. Helmets you can quickly do, but bikes are already made by the manufacturers. Kit, same thing, it's all pre-done. So if you're lucky enough, you can find in the truck the yellow glasses, the yellow helmet, all that stuff. It's already there already.
That's heartbreaking though, isn't it? If you're bringing all of that with you and then you go home and you've never had to use it.
Great for eBay though.
We've got a few questions about what the riders eat. Tribesman 2020 has said, how sick of eating gels are the riders after the 3 weeks? And apart from gels, what's the main go-to food during stages? That's a good one.
Quite often it starts with more solid foods in the beginning, things sort of like cakes or pastries, bread rolls with something like banana, honey, jam, things like that.
I could do that part of an athlete's diet, thank you.
Yeah, that's quite nice. Sometimes rice tarts are really nice. As the tour goes on, you despise the sweet stuff and you want the savoury stuff. Then you start getting a bread roll with omelette in it or some ham and cheese, and that's early in the stage. Then it goes back to the bars, the more easily digestible stuff, the gels again. They're a necessary evil, but after the tour, you don't want to ever see another gel again.
Play havoc with your innards. We've also had a question about calories. How many calories does a rider expend during a race, during an average stage?
I never counted them myself. I didn't wear a device that told me, but I have heard from the scientific people, the clever ones, that on a stage it can be anything between 1,500 on a short, easy one to up around 8,000 on one of the epic mountain stages where you're out there for 7 hours. Fortunately, they don't seem to have ones that long anymore. Well, maybe for the sprinters like I was, and they struggle and they take a bit longer, but they burn a lot of calories. So it's thousands and thousands, and you cannot eat that much food in a day to put back in what you've taken out, and that's why the riders look so emaciated when they get to the end of the tour.
Right, second last question here. At travelling_Matu, thank you for your question. Matu, obviously, Matu. Why don't you guys come out for a few of the days instead of the studio? Good question.
Was that a question? Why aren't we? Or
Why aren't we? But I don't know if is that an invite, Matty? Are we coming chez vous? Because I think we're all up for that if you've got the party going. I could say chez vous, which would be a lot more French, but I just thought I wouldn't try to show off, but I will now. Anyway, je baguette. Why don't you guys come out for a few of the days? We are, aren't we?
We are.
One day.
Yeah, we're in Paris. So see you in Paris, mate, if you're there. But yeah, we're not. We're in the studio for all of it, apart from Paris. So we'd love to be there, but we're just here because it's easier and nicer. Not nicer, it's just easier.
Yeah, we love being on site, absolutely.
Technical question. There's a lot of answers we could give to this.
Yeah, but at the same time, actually, the massive advantage that we get and viewers get, I think, from us being here is we can actually watch the bike racing, which sounds ridiculous. But when you're on site, there is so much going on and you're in a different location every day and you've got to find the catering truck for lunch. You've got to find where the toilets are and blah, blah, blah. You don't actually get to watch very much bike racing. Whereas here, as you can see from Adam's reaction, we sit and watch every kilometre of the racing. So we know what's happening in the race an awful lot more, bizarrely, compared to when we're there.
Sorry, I'm glued to it because Pidcock's just catching the breakaway. He's gone past Connor Swift there already, running commentary as we speak now, round the outside. He's doing a fabulous job, looking good, relaxed on the bike, Chris Froome in front of him. Yeah, we can see a lot more, obviously.
Adam's got 10 kilometres before he heads into commentary, so he's clearly getting warmed up. At Pilgrim_Try has asked, what is the single most impactful Tour de France technology change in the past decade? You're a good one for that.
I would say just the general aerodynamics of everything. I mean, you don't have to go that far back to look at a bike race that looks incredibly old because everything's quite baggy, even though it was Lycra. You know, they've got the aero helmets now. The bikes look completely different. You know, that point where you went from box section aluminium rims to the carbon that we see now. You know, the technology side of things, I would say that's where the biggest gains have been in terms of like speed. And that's in part the reason that they're going so fast and why the average speeds are so fast now.
Yeah, absolutely right. Dean42 Jones has said, will the UK host the Grand Départ any year soon? Keep up the great work. Thank you, Dean42 Jones. Maybe that was specifically to you. I'll thank him on your behalf. That makes sense. What do you think?
I wouldn't be at all surprised if it does come back to the UK at some point because the previous two, 2014 Yorkshire, 2007 in London, were both incredibly successful, weren't they? And they were great for Great Britain as well because I think particularly in 2014, after Brad had been so successful in 2012, we already had that interest. And so everybody came out into Yorkshire and when it came down towards the south and came out and watched the race. So I think that ASO will want to bring it back at some point just because they know what an enormous success it would be.
The whole generation of cycling ago now, practically, isn't it?
Yeah. Time moves by very quickly, Orla, as you well know.
As I well know, as we all know, thank you very much. Right, this is from @Makeup by Belle, who's our very own makeup artist. How many spare bikes does a rider have? Are they exactly the same or different bikes? Good question from Belle, who's only been learning cycling through us in the last couple of years. She's coming on really well.
She has done. She's obviously not been listening though, has she? Because I've told her this loads. No, they've got one bike, Belle, one bike on top of the front car, the first car, and they've got another bike on the spare car. So two bikes. One might be an aero bike, which is more aerodynamic and not difficult. Belle's actually there, so I'll speak to her. One's more aero, which is faster on the flat bell, and one is more for climbing, so a little bit lighter. So they've got two spare bikes, and then they've got another in the truck, so probably like 4 bikes throughout the Tour de France, plus the time trial bikes, spare time trial bikes. But I'll go into that later. Next question.
We've got a question from Matt Salter 50. What's the toughest stage you've ever ridden?
I think it was. I'm trying to remember the year. Let's call it year 2000. I think it was from Draguignan to Briançon. The first 90 kilometres was uphill, not a mountain climb, just uphill riding for 90k.
First 90k.
It was 252 kilometres. The last climb was the Izoard, so above 2,000 metres into Briançon, and I was at the back of the race again in the Gruppetto on that sort of day. It took me 8 hours and 36 minutes to finish the stage. It was horrendous. It was so nasty.
Oh, that's just pain, isn't it? This is a good one from @NP Crawley. Thanks for this. Does Robbie think he would beat today's sprinters in his prime?
That's an easy one. Of course I would. What are you talking about? No competition.
I knew it, and yeah, that's a sprinter's mentality. We'll move on. Victor.mind has said, which rider do you wish you could be for the day? Now, this is a good one because most people would probably say Wout van Aert. But me and Dan have a little thing. We've had a little thing for a while now whereby we have an ongoing argument as to who's the coolest rider, Mathieu van der Poel or Wout van Aert. And you're team Mathieu and I'm team Wout. Who are you gonna say?
I will always say Mathieu. I will always say Mathieu van der Poel.
It's the cheekbones, isn't it?
It's just the way he rides. He's just got power in abundance under normal circumstances. He had to pull out the Tour de France, unfortunately. But the stuff that he does on the bike, there's a few people like him now that have just upset the apple cart. They've ripped up the rule book. And they're just incredibly excited to watch because as a commentator, you can't predict when they're going to go. And that's what I really like about him is that, even the stage that he pulled out of the Tour de France, he was on the attack at the beginning with Wout van Aert and then thought, actually, I still haven't got it. I need to rest myself for another race.
This argument's going to rumble, Dan. I'll convince you yet. @Kino.93 has said, how did teams decide on their lead riders and support? Is it tour specific? I presume that means tour route specific, maybe.
The Tour will always take precedence in terms of the importance of a goal for a team. So if it might be a sprinter, as is the case of Bike Exchange this year, but a lot of teams obviously have a GC rider. And it might be that in certain eras when there's a Pogacar dominance or whatever it might be, that some of the GC riders think, actually, you know what, I think I might target the Giro next year because I've got a bigger chance of winning it. But anyway, we have the big stars that go for the GC at the Tour, and then it's just a case of putting the strongest riders around them. Some climbers, some riders for the flat, and that's what Jumbo-Visma have done so well this year. They've got somebody for every part of the course.
It depends on form and route, really, as well, doesn't it? This one, I know the answer to this already, but anyway, I'll ask you. This is from @MDG1138. Wonderful handles here. You guys ever get tired of each other? I mean, it's a different answer if it's coming from me or from Adam. Obviously, Adam, really?
Get tired of you?
Yeah. Don't lie, don't pretend.
I'm not pretending. We get in a taxi at about, let's say, on average at 8 o'clock. By 8:01, that's enough. That's enough. It's like this every damn day. No, we do get along. It's all good fun, but yeah, it's a bit of a... Sorry, can't say nothing.
You have to bleep that one out. In all honesty, we do. We get in the taxi between like 7:30 or 8:30, depending on the time we start. We are chatting all non-stop on the way here until he tells me to stop.
Hold on. Pidcock's just gone past Chris Froome as well, so he's made up 2 places now. Caught about a minute up. Brilliant stuff.
I mean, this will be well redundant by the time it goes out. We chat all day as we're watching the stage.
Fed up with her.
We then in the taxi way back, and then we all head out to dinner as well. We actually went to an event last night, and me and Dan and Adam were chatting, and somebody came up to us and said, "Don't you work together and don't you talk all day? Why do you want to hang out together?" And we're like, "Well, actually, we kind of get on. Be nice."
Yeah, we do all get on. I will be nice. We all do get on very, very well. So it's very easy.
£5 in the back pocket. This is from @MikaBall64. Which of your co-presenters would you most trust to babysit your kids?
You? I mean, it's not much
I'll
option,
take that.
really, is it?
Well, there's 3 of us. You can choose between, and we're all parents.
I know,
We've all allowed children to survive.
As in the other options are Adam Blythe and Robbie McEwen. I mean,
I think if you left them with Robbie for the day, they'd come back swearing. If you left them with Adam for the day, they'd come back high as a kite on sugar.
yeah, they'd come back also swearing, but not having been taught swearing.
I'll take it as me. I'm the responsible one of the group, I think. @GeekOnTuruk. It's really hard to read these handles. What's your best tip for someone just starting out on a road bike? Quite general.
Learn the basic skills well. So learn all the things that are basically going to keep you on the bike and keep the rubber side down. Do that first and then move on to getting faster. And get yourself measured up, get your bike fitted properly so you're comfortable. They're the essentials when you're starting out.
Yeah, good bike fit is absolutely crucial. And the final question from @Petilio Paul is a very general question for any viewers who are coming to cycling for the first time, maybe during a Tour de France. What is meant by general classification?
So the general classification is the rider with the lowest accumulated time across all the stages. If you've ever watched a rally, for example, same system, lowest time is the best rider in the race, and that is then called the general classification. It classifies the riders generally on their time.
Oh, very good, Robbie. That's it. You're done. Easy. You can go off home.
Did I get a pass?
Yeah, you've got to pass home. You can get at the taxi now.
Class dismissed. See ya.